Amazon has now announced it will not be selling books, framing LGBTQ plus identities as mental illnesses. I assume that also includes mental disorders. If it includes mental disorders, then they're going to have to ban the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual number 5, which labels gender dysphoria in its actual listing of mental disorders, because it is in fact a mental disorder. Okay, now, they banned Ryan Anderson's book. So Ryan Anderson, formerly of Heritage Foundation, now the Ethics and Public Policy Center, he had a book called When Harry Became Sally. And the entire book is very well considered. It does not attempt to say bad things about people who suffer from gender dysphoria. It talks about the various medical solutions that have been proposed and how effective they are or are not. It's a very well-considered, well-thought-out, sympathetic book. Does not matter. Amazon pulled it down. So people tried to get answers from Amazon as to why the book was pulled down, because that is digital book burning. Now, Amazon is saying, according to the Wall Street Journal, that it recently removed a 3-year-old book about transgender issues from its platforms because it decided not to sell books that frame transgender and other sexual identities as mental illnesses. The company explained its decision in a letter Thursday to Republican Senators Marco Rubio of Florida, Mike Lee of Utah, Mike Braun of Indiana, and Josh Hawley of Missouri. The senators had written last month to Chief Executive Jeff Bezos requesting an explanation of why the Ryan Anderson book was pulled down. As to your specific question about When Harry Became Sally, we have chosen not to sell books that frame LGBTQ plus identity as a mental illness, Amazon said in the letter, which was signed by Brian Huseman, Amazon's vice president of public policy, referring to sexual identities that include lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender, among others. When Harry Became Sally, of course, focuses on a variety of issues, including gender dysphoria. Anderson says, quote, everyone agrees gender dysphoria is a serious condition that causes great suffering. Okay, so what exactly are they banning? And the answer is they're not banning every book that says that gender dysphoria is a mental disorder, because it clearly is a mental disorder. It is diagnosed as such. That is why treatment is recommended or not recommended, depending on your point of view. Instead, what Ryan Anderson points out is there is a debate, which Amazon is seeking to shut down, about how best to treat patients who experience gender dysphoria. They called the book an important contribution to that conversation. They said Amazon is using its massive power to distort the marketplace of ideas and is deceiving its own customers in the process. Okay, the fact that Amazon is now banning books on the basis of suggesting, for example, that watchful waiting is a better idea than puberty blockers for children, or the idea that transgender surgery might not actually be super effective in fighting the symptoms of gender dysphoria, that it's banning those books, I mean, that's full-fledged authoritarianism from the corporate media. And you know that this is Amazon's perspective, right? I mean, this is not scientifically settled material by any stretch of the imagination at all. And yet Amazon has decided that the debate is over. So it is only a matter of time before they start banning books that do not take the preferred line on climate change, for example. If you are like Michael Schellenberger or Bjorn Lomborg and you suggest that climate change is occurring, but the solutions provided by the left are not actually the solutions, those books will be taken down. If you believe that America is not systemically racist, those books presumably will be taken down. And all you have to do to find out what Amazon is going to take down next, and this is going to happen over the next couple of years during the Biden administration, what you're going to see as Amazon continues to do this, all you have to do to tell what they take down next is go take a look over at their movie page, because you can see what they are recommending on the ideological side. So producer Savvy sent over an email from one of our listeners showing that Amazon is currently, for Women's History Month, or for International Women's Day, they were honoring women in film. One of the movies that they're honoring as female-directed for women in film is The Matrix by the Wachowski brothers, who are now the Wachowski sisters, right? They're both transgender women. So Amazon is openly making the statement that The Matrix, which was directed by men, okay, it was directed by men. Those not only do these people happen to still be biological men, when they directed the film, they even identified as men. It was only later that they started identifying both as transgender women. Now that is considered a female-directed film because, again, transgender politics means that we change not only the laws of biology, pretending that men are women, but also the laws of physics, pretending they were always women even when they were men, right? We actually can, they say time travel is impossible, not anymore. Now it's completely possible. You can go back and actually change history by declaring that today you identify as a woman. This means you were always a woman, which means that Bruce Jenner is the single greatest female athlete in human history. Sorry, Caitlyn Jenner. Single greatest female athlete in human history, not even close. Defeating men with ease. All the way back during the Olympics in the 70s. Like truly incredible stuff. So Amazon, when they decide that they are going to push the notion that America is systemically racist, you know the next books that they're going to punish are going to be books like Heather McDonald's, which claim that America's police are not systemically racist. Because after all, they disagree. And this cannot be allowed to prevail. These views cannot be allowed in the public sphere.